Southeast to Down South Kitchen. I'm Chris, and I have my wife Naya filming.
Hello.
Come on in. Today we're going to do some Southern style red rice, BBQ ribs, signature style, and green beans with potatoes. And here I have my rice. I have 2 cups of rice in a rice cooker, of course, already cooking. Let me get my gloves on. It's going to be good, trust me. I have a 1/2 cup of onions cut. I have a 1/2 cup of green peppers. You see it? And I have 2 thick sliced cuts of bacon. And I have 1 tablespoon of sugar. You don't want to put too much sugar because you don't want it too sweet. So I do 1 tablespoon is fine. Then I have my 3 Rogerwood sausages cut. You can use any kind of sausage. I use Rogerwood. Tastes better at Rogerwood to me. And then I have seasoning salt, pepper. As long as it's seasoning salt and pepper. It don't have to be no special brand. And I have Hunt's tomato paste. This helps the flavor. You don't have to use Hunt's if you don't want to, but I choose Hunt's. You can get any brand. I have Publix tomato sauce. You can get any tomato sauce. It don't have to be Publix, any brand, as long as it's tomato sauce. And I choose to use V8 juice. You don't have to use V8 juice if you're using tomato sauce, but I choose to use V8 juice and the sauce. And the paste is just going to give it the color and the flavor. All right, so let's get started. Put a little bit of oil in the pot. You know, the bacon already makes it on oil. Put a little bit of oil, not too much, just a little bit. I'll take the bacon here and cut it up. Sorry. Put the bacon inside here. I'm gonna let that fry up. Okay, now I'm cooking my bacon here. I have it on a medium heat, trying to get it crispy and everything. Get it on in there. And once that bacon get crispy, looking good, right?
Oh, good. Love bacon.
Can't go wrong with bacon. You can put much bacon as you want. I don't have to put too much because it's just 2 of us. So. Then while that bacon is cooking up and trying to get crispy here, I'm going to add some onions. I'll let it cook up a little more and then I add my onions in there. All right. And now I add my onions, 1/2 cup. And then I'll go ahead and add the bell peppers. Stir it up a little bit with the onion. Then I add the bell peppers. 1 cup of bell peppers here. I chop them kind of small because you don't want them too big. And I'll let that simmer for a little while. So while I got my onions and my bell pepper here cooking up with the bacon, I'll go ahead and fry the sausage in here. This is 3 Rogerwood sausages cut. You can cut them however you want. I don't want them too big. And I'll keep turning this. I'll turn this down on low. And I got this on medium heat for these sausages here. You can see them cooking up and everything here. And I just added a little bit of oil to the sausages. Okay, now while this is about done here, go ahead and start adding the tomato sauce. To turn it down. Then I add the tomato paste. And then I add my BBQ. Just give it a little stir. Get that paste all breaking up. And don't turn it up too high because you don't want all that stuff to pop up all over the place. Give that a good stir. You can cook it all in the same pot if you want to, the sausage and the bacon and the onions and all that. But I choose to do it in a separate pot. Once that's all breaking up, I'll go ahead and add my seasoning salt. Not too much seasoning salt, so just a little bit. I always eyeball it. Pepper. You can put much pepper as you want, but you don't want to put too much. You want to stir that up. And I use just a tablespoon of sugar. I like my sausage to be crispy. I like that burntness on it. So while that's cooking, go ahead and add the sugar. I just use a tablespoon of sugar, and the sugar helps to like cut that tomato flavor out a little bit. So I use 1 tablespoon. You don't want to put too much sugar because you don't want it to be too. Give it a good stir. And while that's going, let that simmer. Close the top of that. Sausage. Some of them sausages. Stirring up this again. And again, I only use 2 cups of rice. You can use 3 cups or whatever. It all depends on how big your family is. Our family isn't that big, so I only need 2 cups would be fine. Into the sausage. You don't need the sausage cooked up. And I love to use Rogerwood sausage too. Okay, next I'm going to stir this up some more here. Then I'm going to add the sausage. And then I'll add the rice. Can you get in there? Let everybody see it. All that goodness in there. Then I'm going to add the sausages to this. And don't mind these are child-proof locks. Add the sausage. Put that out there. Turn your eye down on low. That's how we do it in South Carolina. Everybody have their own way, but this is how we do it in South Carolina. I'm going to go ahead and add my rice. Next, I'm going to add my 2 cups of rice to this pot here. It's from the rice. I'm going to add that to this pot here. I took the sausage out of.
And you don't want to use the regular long grain. Get the parboiled rice.
Yeah, you want to use parboiled rice because it don't stick. And that's the best rice. I like parboiled rice. You can use long grain if you want to, but I choose parboiled because it don't stick. And then you can keep the eye off. You don't have to cut it on. And what you want to do is, I'm going to add the sauce to the rice, but you don't want to just dump it all in there because you don't want it too wet. So let me get the oven going here. Put the oven on 350 because the rice is going to go in the oven, so it can dry up a little bit. Now I'm going to do a little bit at a time. Your eyes on low. You want to do a little bit at a time. You don't want to do too much at one time. You don't want to put it all in there. You want to do a little bit and then cut it off and stir it up. And see, I probably put a little too much, but it's okay. Coming together. Good old red rice. And what I do is, I gotta have my sausage in there. What I do is basically drain my sausage and everything from this juice. Drain my sausage and everything out of here. I don't like it too wet. So that's why
nor too dry.
Yeah, you don't want it too dry either. That's right. Okay, if you have extra sauce, like me, I put too much sauce, but if you have extra sauce, you can make some more rice and add, add it to it or whatever if you want extra red rice, and you can freeze it. Mine might be a little bit too wet here, but it's okay. I'll have it dry up in the oven. And then what I do is I add a little bit more seasoning, salt, and pepper. Because you want to make sure it's seasoned right. So I add a little more pepper to mine. I get it here. Then I add a little bit more seasoning salt. I don't try to add too much. Just a little bit. And then I mix it up. And voila, red rice. But now it's going in the oven now. And I'm gonna use a little 8x8. I use a little 8x8 pan. If I was making a lot, I would have used a 9x13, but I'm just gonna use an 8x8 because it's just 2 of us. I'm just gonna take that and I'm just gonna put it straight into this pan here. You might want to spread it out. See, normally I would do it in a long pan, but I would do it in a 8x8 today. Because I'm not making it for a big. And I'll be back with the next steps. Okay, now I'm about to put this in the oven, red rice in the oven. Normally you would want to taste your sauce to make sure it's sweet enough for you. So that's up to you, man. Okay, I'm going to get this in the oven. I'm going to cover it for 30 minutes. And then I will uncover it. Because I don't want it to dry up too fast. So I'm going to cover it. And then I will uncover it and let it cook for another 30 minutes without it. And again, it's up to you. About 30 minutes. This red rice is in the oven. We'll be back to show you our signature ribs. Okay, here I have my ribs already washed and pat dry because they have to be dry when you do it. And this is 2.5 pounds of baby backs. Okay, now I'm going to go over here to the rub. I'm going to mix the rub up. This is 2 tablespoons of blackening seasoning, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and then I got 1.5 tablespoons of light soy sauce. And I'm just going to mix all these together. This is going to be the rub for the ribs. I'm just going to mix all this up together. And you want to make sure that the ribs are dry once you rinse them and everything. Okay, that's good enough. And then here we have a baking pan. I'm gonna put the ribs on here on aluminum foil. Okay, so you want to get 2 long pieces of aluminum foil and cross them over one another.
And what we're going to do is make like a little pocket. This helps to keep the ribs nice and moist.
Okay, now I'm going to rub each rib down. And I'm just going to stick them on the pan here. Okay. Okay, I'm going to rub each rib down with the rub, and then I'm going to put them on the, I'm going to place them on the pan here. Okay, before I rub the ribs down, I'm going to go ahead and pull out this red rice. I'm going to take that aluminum foil off the top of it, because it was 30 minutes. See, it still looks kind of... So I'm going to put that back in there for about 30 more minutes. So it can finish drying up. Put that back for 30 minutes. And it should be drying up after 30 minutes. And I'll just stick this to the side for right now. Now, back to the ribs. Gloves already in.
You don't have to use the gloves. We use the gloves every time we cook, especially with chicken.
Yes. Just want to put a little bit on the ribs here, rub them down. You want to make sure you get enough of that rub on them. Place them in the pan. And you want to do it one rib at a time. That's how you know they all getting some rub on them. Don't try to just dump it on the top anymore. I do one rib at a time. It's better that way. So that means all of the ribs can get some of the goodness. And there's never too much sauce. Rub, sorry. There's never too much. You just want to make sure all of it gets some rub on it. Rub each one of them down. Show them the good ribs.
Yes. If you want your ribs a little sweeter, you can add another tablespoon of brown sugar, or if you like it less sweet, then just do a tablespoon of brown sugar.
This will be the last one here. Show them the ribs.
See all that good seasoning rub
Yes.
on here. It's not a dry rub, obviously, but it's a little wet and tasty.
Yes, it is. Okay, so we have all our ribs here. We'll open up a little bit of space in between them here. And we'll let this cook for about an hour. Okay, now I'm just closing up the ribs.
Just closing up the ribs. Make sure it's tight, tightly folded, both sides. Then we're going to bring the other side. So you have to have a long enough aluminum foil to do this. And like I said, this creates a tight pocket. And it doesn't have to be so close to the rib. because you have to have enough space for the moisture to build. Is it tight enough?
Tight, but it's not too tight. Okay.
Okay, now we're going to set this in the oven for about an hour. If you want to, you can let it marinate overnight or for 30 minutes to an hour. But we're going to go ahead and stick it in the oven on 350 for about an hour.
Sliding up one of these ribs here. And this red rice, sorry. So now I just move the red rice down. And then I put the ribs in. And once the red rice stops, you can put the ribs in at another 30 minutes. Once that timer goes off. Now that we have the red rice and the ribs in the oven, we're going to go ahead and do the green beans. I use Del Monte in a can. You can get any kind of cut green beans that you want. It's up to you. And I got 2 thick slices of bacon here, cut. And then I have 2 potatoes here, 2 small potatoes. I cut them up or whatever. Get this bacon going here. And yes, we love bacon.
Yes, we do.
Everything's better with bacon. So we'll get this bacon here frying up again. And I already washed the potatoes and cut them up and everything. It was just 2 small potatoes. I already washed them and cut them up. Okay, now that the bacon, get in here so you can see it. Now that the bacon has been crisped up a little bit, I'm going to turn my eye down a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and throw the potatoes on up in there. You don't have to drain the grease. You just dump the potatoes around and
Get the potatoes some flavor.
yeah. Give these potatoes some of that bacon flavor. Stir that up a little bit. Oops, sorry. Now that I let those potatoes get a little bit of that bacon flavor, go ahead and add the green beans. I got Del Monte cut green beans. You can get any kind of green beans. I just use Del Monte. Normally I would use frozen, but I'm not going to do it today. Stir it up a little bit. Look at that.
Looks good.
Then I'll just let this cook up after I put a little seasoning. Seasoning salt. Not too much. You don't have to be too much.
Because you already have the salt from the bacon.
That's right. Thank you. And pepper. Thank you, honey.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
Stir that up a little bit. Now I'm going to get some butter.
Doesn't it look tasty?
Not too much butter, but I like mine a lot of butter. Then I use unsalted butter. Okay, now that I have the green beans cooking, looking good with the potatoes and everything in it, I turned it down. Looks good. And then the red rice, I just pulled that out of the oven.
Oh yes, that looks good.
Okay, the red rice is out of the oven, and then I just pull the ribs out. Just pull the ribs out of the oven. And I'm about to put some barbecue sauce on them.
It's the Kettleman's
Carolina Tangy Gold Kettleman's. That's the sauce I'm gonna put on here. You can put much as you want. I like a lot of sauce. And then I'm gonna put these back in the oven for 5 more minutes. Well, 10 minutes. I put them back in there for 10 minutes. Once I get this good sauce on it and everything. And again, I like a lot of barbecue sauce. Do you see it? Get in there so they can see this good ribs.
This is not your regular original, what is it, barbecue sauce?
Yes, it's not your original barbecue sauce.
It looks like a mustard color, like a honey mustard color.
Yes.
Doesn't taste like honey mustard, but it's good.
Okay, then we'll get this back in the oven for about 10 minutes. You don't have to wrap it when you put it back in the oven. You leave it open. I just close it up just a little bit, put it in the oven. You'll have to seal it back up. Get it back in the oven. For about 10 minutes, and then that'll be ready to go. So the red rice is finished. It's kind of hot. The green beans are here. Good potatoes in there and bacon. And that red rice again. See, it done got dry, so that's good. Got it?
Yes.
And we'll be back with the plating results. Okay, this is the end results. Got your red rice, your green beans, and your ribs. So follow our page, like, share, subscribe. And we're going to be putting up a few more videos of us cooking and everything. Peace.